As summer begins to heat up, so does the college football season, edging our way closer by each day. We're still a little ways out, but we've got some exciting news. The College Football Video Game 2025, a dream come true for all of us college football fans. I'm Nathan Johnston, here with my co-host and new dad, Brad Hopkins. It's time to break the huddle. Brad, good to be back, and congratulations on your firstborn, beautiful baby, and man, we're excited for this video game.
Absolutely, Nate. Thank you so much. Good to be back here. Definitely adjusting to the dad life, but yes, finally NCAA football. Not NCAA football. EA Sports College Football 25 feels like we've been waiting on this. Well, we've been waiting on it for 10 years, but especially with the NIL stuff and EA announced they were bringing it back. It was supposed to be back last summer, and it got pushed. But it feels so good. Well, my wife. How excited I was, and she's like, "Well, we're gonna lose you some." So anyway, I've already got a carrier to carry my baby in, so I can play video games but still watch her. So I'm ready to go, and I want to say thank you all to the subscribers here on Break the Huddle. Nate and I have had a lot of life things going on, so we just want to thank y'all so much for your support. We've got a lot of exciting stuff on the channel, and Nate and I are going to get into it. But one of the things we want to do is look, we're both big video game players, and we want to get y'all involved. And I don't think I have ever been more excited. I grinded and spent hours and hours on NCAA football 14. Honestly, I was telling my wife jokes to me because my thing with video games, I love to just build the teams. I mean, I enjoy playing the games, but I just like to build the teams. And Nate, man, I'm excited because we got NIL in this game, which whatever you feel, you got the transfer portal plus recruiting. I was trying to think of like different ways how I'm going to build my team.
Yeah, Brad, I mean, you summed it up perfectly for all of us lovers of college football. And Brad, you mentioned in the beginning, you kind of had a slip up with NCAA versus college football. And I wanted to ask you, we're so used to saying NCAA 14, NCAA 13, 12, whatever. Is this a foreshadowing of college football breaking away from the NCAA? Is it kind of a play on words? Is this a joke? Is it just a matter of contracts? What are your quick thoughts on that before we move
Yeah,
on?
that's a really good question. It's really interesting. I'm not sure. I think a big part of it is, I think because they didn't tag it that way, they have a few more like liberties that they can do because they're not under that NCAA franchise tag. That's such an interesting question. I don't know. I really don't. Everyone here on Break the Hell, they know my feelings on. I would like to see it break away. Nate, I know you've expressed some thoughts on that. But it's definitely it's an interesting question. And I will say like I hope that the franchise is here to stay. Like I don't think it's going anywhere. I think we're gonna get a game every year, but it's gonna be fun to see it change. I gotta say, man, I think one of the most things I'm so hyped for because in NCAA 14 we have the BCS, we have the playoff now, and man,
Yeah.
that is gonna be, dude, it's gonna be
12-team playoff.
12 team. That's such a good point. 12-team playoff. Man, I'm hyped. Nate, I wanted to ask you, who is the first team in? I think is it Dynasty Mode? I think that's the mode.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah.
the first team? Who's the first team you're playing with, though, man?
I mean, off the top of my head, I think the obvious answer would be Georgia, considering I
Okay,
graduated from Georgia.
right.
But if we're talking in terms of teams that we want to build from the ground up and really make a name for themselves, oh gosh, it's tough. I would say the first team would probably be UTSA, the Roadrunners. I
Nice,
think that'd be a
nice.
really fun program to build up. We know what Coach Jeff Traylor has done over there for the UTSA Roadrunners. Had a bit of a hiccup this past season, not doing as well as they've done in the past couple years before that. But man, UTSA and the Alamo Dome, it's a fun place to be. And you can look at the other teams. I think Buffalo would be a cool one to do. I think it's the Buffalo Bulls.
Yes, yes, correct.
Like blue and black uniforms. I remember
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
that one on NCAA 14. They had really cool uniforms. I'm just excited for all of it.
Same.
I want to see the uniforms. I want to like all the alternate uniforms that we were kind of not given on NCAA 14. I think we're gonna get all of it on this game. But yeah, I would to answer your question, I would say UTSA. What about you, Brad? Who are you going with?
I love to be an offensive coordinator at about the worst offense in college football and just build my way up to becoming a head coach somewhere. One of the teams that I'm interested to take on, and I feel like they're a little bit of a sleeping giant, is SMU, because SMU's making the jump to the ACC. They have a really, really high powered offense. They've got some playmakers come back. They're a team that I might, go on a little run with, and they're a team too that hey, look, they got to compete with obviously all the Texas schools and Oklahoma, but they're a team that I might start a franchise, a dynasty with, and just attack the transfer portal. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I will say one final comment. I am super excited to play with Travis Hunter because he's playing both ways. He's going to be a kick returner, punt returner. Travis Hunter is going to be so much fun to play with.
Transitioning, I want to ask you, Brad. We look at the cover, right? The deluxe cover, I think it is, and you look at who's on there. You got Quinn Ewers, Edwards, and Hunter, and everyone's wondering where's Shedeur? Where's Shedeur on this cover? On either cover, and I have my take, but I want to get your take first. Any thoughts on this, or is not too much to read into? What do you think?
I will say I think Shedeur is a good player, and I mean, looking at some early mock drafts for 2025, he's probably going to be a top 10 pick. I will say though, it's hard for me to say that Shedeur Sanders should be over there over Travis Hunter, because Travis Hunter is just so electric. I mean, we've not seen a Travis Hunter type player come through college football in a long time. A guy that is very, very good on both sides of the ball. It makes sense, And then Quinn Ewers, look, Quinn's a good quarterback. You could have put Carson Beck on there. Quinn's a good selection. Donovan Edwards was a little bit interesting to me. Not to hate on him, he's a great player. I really think it was kind of like, okay, Michigan's the defending national champions. Let's get their kind of star player on there. Just to kind of finalize, I get, people want Shedeur Sanders on there. He's a big name. He's a big name because of who he is and who his dad is. But Travis Hunter makes more sense to me. He is the most electrifying player in college football right now. He's so dynamic, and I think it's fun. He's on there. I really do over Shedeur.
Yeah, absolutely, Brad. And I agree with all your points. I think Travis Hunter, probably one of the top 2 picks in the NFL draft. He's probably the number 1 player in all of college football right now, arguably. With Quinn Ewers being on there over Carson Beck or someone like that, I think it's as simple as, look, Texas is heading into the SEC. If you zoom in on the fine details, they got the SEC decal on the back of their helmet. That's a little different than seeing that Big 12 decal, Brad. And so I think Texas and Oklahoma coming into the Big 12, or excuse me, into the SEC coming over from the Big 12. That's the biggest storyline of all college football. What is Texas and Oklahoma going to do? We're going to find out more at SEC Media Days, and we're going to have Jake Rowe on later on in the summer, hopefully to discuss further about that situation. So I think when it comes down between Texas and Oklahoma, that's where they put Texas on the cover. Texas coming to the SEC, everyone's hyped about that. And then, like you said, Edwards being from Michigan, defending national champions, it was obvious to put him on there as well. So you got the biggest storyline in college football, the best player, and the defending national champion on there. It pretty much sums up college football as a whole. And I thought they did a really, really good job of defining that. And to me, I mean, you see on the big cover with all the players, you see Milroe, you see Beck, you see Judkins and the Ohio State uni. That's a little weird. That's a little familiar territory for us. But let us know in the comments who you think is going to be the most exciting team to play with. Who's your dynasty team? What's a team that you want to build up? And who are some opponents that you want to play? I know, look, as much as I'm a college football analyst, I have to be, nonchalant and be, I don't know what the right saying is, but I have to be non-biased. I have to call it for what it is. Look, I want to beat Ohio State and Ryan Day by 50. I'm sorry, Ohio State fans. Ryan Day's got to go. And by year 3 of my Dynasty Mode, Ryan Day will be out the door at Ohio State. I can guarantee you that. We look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, it's time to break the huddle.